Before we continue, I want to tell you something. I have written a book that will change your life if you are dealing with modern women or looking to improve yourself. This book will help you a lot. It has changed the lives of many people, so you should give it a try. Buying link in the description. Now, let's continue the video.
I've realized that being single is kind of like the game of Monopoly, okay? I love Monopoly until I don't, right? Until I'm losing. Then it's not so fun anymore, is it? No, it's not. All right, then suddenly I'm not passing go and collecting my 200 anymore, am I? No, I'm not, okay? At first, you're living life on a high. You're passing go. You're collecting that 200. You're going around. You're just living life. You're not thinking anything of it. You're like, being single is great, right? And then suddenly you're paying on other people's properties and want you to pay for dates. You're like, wait, I didn't sign up for this. I don't know what game this is. It's not for me, okay? Suddenly you get put in jail. You're losing a turn. People in relationships are passing you by saying, how's life in the slums? It doesn't feel good anymore, does it? No, embracing that singleness didn't really work out, did it? No. Okay, you get out of jail. You have a few properties. It's not really doing much for you, is it? No, it's not. You thought you were going to be all good. Like, oh my gosh, no. But now you're older and you're like, wait, this isn't as cool as it used to be. It's just not. And now you go bankrupt. You actually get kicked out of the game, which you thought that was what you wanted, but is it really what you wanted? No, it's not what you wanted.
It's interesting how some women enjoy being single and playing the game until they get tired of it. It's like they love making moves and achieving things on their own, but then realize they've moved forward too much without someone special by their side. I've noticed that some women put their independence and freedom first, which is great, but then they start feeling the emptiness of not having a partner to share their life with. It's almost as if they blame the game for being lonely, but forget that they're the ones in control. I've seen women enjoy being single and the excitement of doing things alone, but then they start feeling regret and thinking about what could have been. It's like they missed out on important opportunities. It's not about finding a perfect plan or strategy. It's about recognizing that sometimes women might be their own toughest competition in love. They take risks, roll the dice, and later wish things had turned out differently.
You literally wouldn't believe what my mum's doing. So for a bit of context, I'm 31. I've been single for 6 years and I live at home with no intentions to move out because I can afford about a shed around where I live. That's it. Oh, and the last time I went on a date was last October. That's a long time. I refuse to go on dating apps. Unless I meet them in person, I'm done. This year, I was like, no more dating apps. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I'll show you what she's doing. Show me it. Huh? Oh, God. That's her knitting her future grandchild's blanket. I will give it to her though. She's chosen a really nice wool. It's like cashmere and merino wool blend. But she's going to be waiting a while to use that blanket.
It's frustrating when some women show toxic behavior and then act like the victim when things don't go their way. Have you noticed how some women play the victim when they reach a certain stage in life? It's like they act independent and free on TikTok, but still live with their mom because they can't afford to move out. What's the point of claiming to be single and independent when you're struggling financially? It's annoying to see women like this gaining popularity on TikTok, with people looking up to them without knowing the reality behind the scenes. When a woman says she's done with dating, it often comes from a self-centered mindset. It's like she expects perfection from men and wants them to meet her standards, and if they don't, she calls them unworthy. But the truth is, men are changing too, and we're setting our own standards in dating. We're not influenced by the biological clock or unreasonable demands. It's time for women to take responsibility for their choices and stop blaming others for their mistakes.
I don't know if it's because of my age or because I've been spending too much time on social media, but recently I found myself falling back into the comparison game. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy, and I genuinely think that is true. However, I think it is normal to compare yourself, especially when your friends and you start to either grow apart or you all just enter different life stages at different times. For me, recently, I feel like all I've been noticing is my friends either getting engaged, married, having a child or second child, whereas I'm currently running around New York, having the time of my life, living out my dream. While I adore my life, I do feel like it takes a toll on me to look at my friends get the things that I also want one day in life. And since they're living it out and I'm not, it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like if I should be moving to a smaller town and finding a partner and settling down. I've always been a late bloomer, so I don't know why I expect my life to follow the timeline of my friends. So I'm gonna remind myself to enjoy this stage of life while it lasts because I've wanted to be here for so long. And if you're like me, let's trust in the timing together.
Are you feeling tired of feminism and looking for a different kind of support? The issue often lies in how she approaches relationships. It seems like she hasn't given men a real chance to show who they are and what they can offer, which can lead to misunderstandings and missed chances for genuine connections. This type of woman tends to set extremely high standards, and then she wonders why she isn't finding the happiness she's looking for. It's as if she thinks she knows everything and doesn't allow men the room to grow and become better versions of themselves. Women who make these kinds of videos often focus more on their own goals rather than caring about the emotional needs of men. They might seem self-centered or lacking in empathy, more interested in being seen as leaders than in building healthy relationships. Unless she is open to rethinking her standards and approach, finding a suitable partner might remain difficult. People like her might unintentionally push friends away and come across as unsupportive or even jealous of others' successes.
Sharing that I'm a 30-year-old single woman and apparently I do not look like I'm 30 really triggered a lot of people on the internet. I got a lot of comments saying what I needed to do to change the way my face looks, to change the way my hair looks, in order to achieve the ultimate goal of finding my perfect man, finding that love story that I've been dreaming of, finding my partner. And the fact that I'm not doing that means I'm lazy. But here's the deal. I'm aging gracefully. I am 30. Maybe I look older than 30, but who cares? I show my face on the internet with makeup, without makeup a lot, and with makeup. But I'm not insecure about that. And unfortunately, I feel like we live in a world where we see a lot of women's faces that are either wearing makeup, filtered, or anything along those lines. And I just want to remind you, it's okay to be you, show your face how it is, and don't change anything if you don't want to.
Let's talk about something that's been obvious from the start of these videos. Have you ever noticed that these women only focus on their own problems, looks, needs, and wants, without ever mentioning what they can offer to their partners? It's a pattern of seeking self-satisfaction while avoiding the tough truths. Deep down, many of these women might feel guilt or regret because time isn't on their side biologically, but they won't admit it openly. Instead, they stick to the idea that they don't need to change anything about themselves to find love. Who thinks that way, right? The truth is, these women won't outright say they regret their choices. You'll start to notice it when they show their vulnerabilities, which could actually turn off potential partners. They'll assure you that they understand the situation and that you shouldn't worry, but what are they really offering in return? Us men have evolved. We're no longer just looking for beauty. In the past, we may have been misled by looks, but now we see the truth. We want substance, depth, and real connection, qualities that go far beyond appearances.